for the Banshees, which, I don't know, I was talking to my friend Lock-On earlier, who was going to prep this replay, and I said, you know, just let me do an audio on it. So he was like, alright, cool. And his opinion of the Banshees is that, what's his face? Sweet wasn't getting healing scrolls, so he was getting the Banshees with anti-magic shield to counter the need to get healing scrolls to counter the Stomp and Chain Lightning, which are extremely devastating to Fiend Army. So if you've got anti-magic shield, what do you need healing scrolls for? Because you're not going to take that damage in the first place. And so we have Sweet TPing back to his base after, well, it was actually double TP. They're both TP'd to their bases, but that's probably one of the worst kind of TPs. And just a quick mention that Sweet picked up a Fire Lord second. With Lava Spawns, Fire Lord, he's just continuing in the theme of getting summons, because Orc loses to summons. It's just a fact. And I think X got that one Bat Rider either by a misclick or because he's expecting Destroyers. Is that? Yeah, Destroyers? Okay. And as far as the Banshees go, I just want to say a couple more things about them. They're really win-win for Sweet in this case, because either all of X's units are going to be cursed, or he's going to be able to use his Destroyers and eat that curse and get fat amounts of mana. So here we've got X with just his superior heroes just really beating down on Sweet's, you know, stuff, and Sweet's got to get that Fire Lord out of there. I think he's eventually going to have to pop that potion, but X is just destroying Banshees and you know, Fiends with Focus Fire units, that kind of stuff. And down goes the Fire Lord. Fire Lord, definitely a weak hero. Definitely should be kept to the back of any undead army if you're considering using it. Keep it to the back and try and keep it out of the way. Keep that summoning Lava Spawns. The Lava Spawns are going to do more damage for you than the hero anyway. Finally, we see where Sweet, popping out Destroyers. Hopefully he's going to start eating some of that curse, you know, absorbing some mana, get some splash on that attack. As of right now, X is doing a decent job of focus firing that thing down. And yeah, there we go. Like I said, Wyverns do a high amount of damage. They're going to be able to take stuff down. And there's a War Stomp. Another reason why War Stomp is good, you're going to be able to take out any melee heroes that the undead has. And most undead heroes are melee. In fact, range Lich. Okay, Lich is a ranged one. So, yeah, definitely against undead, going Stomp is the way to go. I'm pretty sure he buys a potion here, manages to save that Beastmaster, because those towers are just a bit too intense for X. But, you know, you never know. So, right, we have TP Scroll going out for X on the Farseer, and I think the TC is just going to end up running. Not entirely sure of what happens here, but it's really not important. What's important is that you notice that X is starting to pump out more statues, whereas X... Oh, fuck, I said X twice. Sweet is pumping out more statues, whereas X, building up that expansion... Well, not really building it up, but getting Raiders. Raiders are going to be able to help counter those Destroyers by netting them. Netting them. And then that'll allow the Wyverns to focus fire them easier. It'll let the Torn Chieftain get to him. It'll let anything that can attack ground attack him. Wow, that's the definition of net. I don't know why you guys listen to me. All I do is tell you guys things you should already know. But, right, obviously Spirit Hawk can attack those Spirit Walkers, so taking them down. At this point of the game, it's really turned in X's favor. Sweet just never caught that expansion. It appears that at some point in the game he did do some damage to it. I'm not exactly sure when that was. I must have missed it, because that burrow is definitely on fire and that Great Hall is definitely damaged. Shop, on the other hand, full HP. But this is what I call StarCraft Warcraft, where X is now just going to beat him by pummeling him down with superior units. Or not superior units per se, but superior unit numbers. And he's managing to not fall into the trap of getting one type of unit that's going to be easily countered. He's getting Wyverns, Grunts, he's getting Raiders, he's getting Spirit Walkers. So keeping a diverse army against undead is good, because if you get, say, just Grunts, Destroyers are going to counter him. If you get, say, just Raiders, A-Bombs are going to counter him. If you get just Wyvern, Fiends are going to counter him. So you really got to keep a diverse army versus undead as Orc. And Not so much on the undead side do you have to do that. You can go for destroyers, and you could just mass them up, and if you got fiends backing them up, that should do you. But you know, you can keep a diverse army, like Sweet's trying to do here with Banshees casting anti-magic shield on the fiends and the statues and the destroyers. But it's far more important for the orc to have the diverse army than it is for the non-dead. All right, so we're gonna see nothing going on for a moment here. You notice that Sweet hasn't expanded yet. I doubt he ever will. He's just fallen too behind. Unless Sweet captures a big victory here, and he needs one. That's why he's bringing all of his lumber ghouls. I'm not sure. I forget if he fights at the expo or at the base itself, but in any last-ditch effort as an undead, you're gonna want to just bring your ghouls along. If you're gonna win or lose based on one battle, why not have all the damage you can? And here we have X failing to surround a Farseer. Farseer, I think, gets away with minimal HP. And once again, we're just seeing X's diverse army. I don't think he ever did he upgrade to tier 3? Yeah, he does, but he hasn't gotten Envenom Spears yet, and he's getting it right now. Envenom Spears, definitely a good upgrade. It really takes those wyverns from tier 2 air to tier 3 air, because you know the stacking damage. It's all good stuff. You notice that X is a very good net user there. He manages to take down that Spirit Hawk before it's able to do any more damage to the Farseer. And liberal usage of anti-magic shield by Sweet before he goes in to try and take out this expansion. And the fortified upgrade, it should be mentioned, is always to be gotten versus undead. Otherwise, burrow sniping will reach levels of which, you know, you can't imagine. So as an orc, you're really going to want to get that fortified upgrade ASAP. It's worth almost teching to tier 3 for that, and Envenom Spears together is worth the tier 3 tech. And so, as far as battle strategy goes, the undead here, summoning a lot, but the orc knows exactly what he's doing. He's very good at disenchanting. He's also making sure to focus down the destroyers with his Wind Riders, because that is where the damage is going to come from, so that's where you need to do the damage with. So you're going to need to focus. It's really not all that hard. Go ahead and put, I don't know, Wind Riders in control group 3, 4, even 2, you know, whatever you want to put them in. It's not really important. But just you know, hit 2, A-click, whatever units you want to go down. You can even shift click if you're playing against somebody that you don't think is going to bother microing. So at this point the Beastmaster goes down. I don't think there's much of a chance for Sweet to come back. And like I said before, it's all about the StarCraft Warcraft, where if you mass up enough units, you're probably going to be able to beat them. And quite frankly, this game's over, and I'd like to review the strategy so that I can get off to bed, because I am hella tired, guys. Like, all this not making audios really drains you. Oh, but I think I might do my Gollum impression before the audio's over, because I've got a pretty good one. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not a bad Gollum impression. Anyway. Firelord just going down. Blaze Fury, yeah. He's going to get furiously blazed here in half a second by large amounts of stomping and, you know, just general destruction. I wish X would get a purge off on him. There we go. There's that purge. Yeah, it's really game over here. Now, the moral of this story is Sweet pretty much got a perfect army. He got what he needed to counter he got what he needed to counter X, but the fact that he didn't scout that expansion out soon enough is it's why he lost the game. He lost the game because he didn't realize that he had that expo. So the message for orc players is, on Turtle Rock, you can do that expo. It's not too hard. You can do it with a Farseer, 4 grunts, and you know, maybe I think what's his face, X used a Wand of Illusion. And that's definitely going to help you too, but if maybe just one more grunt and you've made up that difference. And the moral of the story for the undead is, never assume that just because orc is orc that they're not expanding. So, you know, you got to really keep up that scouting. And whether that involves getting a Shade, I really like Shades. Shades are one of the best scouting units there is. It's a movable permanent sentry ward. I don't understand why more people don't get them. Well, maybe it's because it requires the extra building. But then you can just get up to Frosties, and I think I'm on a tangent here. I should probably get back to the point of the game. So, keys to the game for the Orc. would be the diversity of the army, spirit walkers, wyvern, grunts, raiders, which was all made possible by that fast expansion. Well, fuck, it's not a fast expansion, by that expansion. Well, it's fast for an orc, I suppose. But yeah, so definitely you can go for that expansion, orcs. Don't be afraid that just because your orc in your town hall takes half an hour to build that you can't expand. You can definitely do it. Make sure you build that burrow next to the expansion so that if he comes peon harassing, you can deal with it. And the shop near the expansion, always a good idea. You can even skip building one in your normal base if you're expanding close. So yeah, good idea. Keys to the game for undead was that Beastmaster actually worked quite well up until he got whatchamacallums, dispellers. But the nice thing about getting a Beastmaster as an undead is, if you get summons, he's forced to get anti-summoners, which would be spirit walkers or shaman, and the rest of your units completely counter that. Say your destroyers will counter those casters, or your fiends even will counter those casters. So you're forcing him to get a unit that is directly countered by your units. That's always a good sign. So Firelord and Beastmaster, more viable than you might think as undead. I think that's going to wrap it up for us here, but before I go, I will do my Golem impression for you guys here, and then I hope I don't take another 3-month break in between making audios, but it might just be necessary in order to produce quality such as this. Alright, so one impression, and then I'm going to say see ya. Alright, let's do this. Ready? Precious. This is Wicked, signing off.